Hey guys, welcome back to part 3 of my draw, rig and animate character in Moho. So today I'm going to kind of fix the smart actions and the limbs, and I might set up the face as well so it has kind of bones to control the pupils, the eyelids and so on. So yeah, let's just hide this back layer real quick for the reference because we don't need it anymore. And let's get into it. So I'm going to start by fixing the forearms. So like this needs some serious fixing. Look at that. Disgusting. So I've got the bone selected. I'm on the bone layer. Let's double check I am. I'm going to add a new action. Make sure it's called the same name as the bone so we know it's working. I'm just going to go to frame 72. And then we're going to rotate this bone this way, like that. Then we're going to alt click on the forearm, and every time the arm goes to that point we want this arm to do this, to come to here. We'll just get it looking at a good spot. Now every time that bone rotates, that arm's going to do that. Okay, let's go back to the main line, back to the bone, add another action, back to frame 72, and we're going to rotate it the other way to about here. Same again, just edit the points on this vector for the forearm. Yeah, looking relatively good. To there, that should do it. Let's have a look. Yeah, that works for me. Back to the main line. We'll do it for this top bone arm now. Top arm bone, does that make sense? Yeah, that did make sense. Back to the bone layer. Add a new action. It should be called B6. That's correct, B6. Frame 72. Let's rotate the bone to here. To be fair, it's not too bad there, but we can tweak that just so it looks a little bit better. Yeah, that works because it kind of comes when it's there. We need it to get past the neck. Okay, back to the main line, back to that bone layer. I'm just going to collapse some of this stuff because it's taking me a long time to get back to the bone layer. Collapse, collapse, collapse. Okay, back to the bone layer. Add a new action, B62, frame 72, rotate that bone all the way up, and then we're going to tweak these points to get it looking good again. Bring it to about here. So now every time that bone rotates that way, the arm does that. Very simple. Just basically just telling the software where you want these points to go when that bone is rotated in that direction. Okay. I don't think the hand needs anything. That's fine. That works. Doesn't really bother me. That's fine as well. So is the neck. That is also fine. Doesn't really bother me. Let's do the other arm. So back to the bone layer. See, that's not working. Let's select that correct bone. B9, frame 72. Hit T on the keyboard to rotate the bone. I'm going to rotate it up here, and then I'm going to alt right click to select the points on that vector layer and just move things around so it looks pretty. And I think that works for me. Yeah, that works. Back to the main line again for the other direction, so back to the bone. B9 2, frame 72. Let's rotate it. Is there even another way we need to rotate this? I don't think there is. Let's rotate it this way. Just two out there, because we can get the shoulder just coming around a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't really need much of that one, to be completely honest. That's fine. It's that'll be fine. Back to the main line. Just test that. Why is that not? Is it because I'm on frame 0 that work on this frame? Let's have a look. Yeah, that works. I think I don't think I was on the bone layer. It does work. You just make sure you're on the bone layer to see it kind of work how you've got it set up, if that makes any sense. Let's just hide this torso, because we're going to do this arm, and hide the lower torso too. Select this bottom bone. We're on frame 0 on the bone layer. Add a new action, B10, frame 72. Rotate that bone up here to about here, and then let's edit these points. It's quite a relaxing kind of procedure, this but yeah, it's kind of a relaxing. I don't know what the word would be, but yeah, it's just quite relaxing to do this, because you know what you're doing is fixing the rig, and it's going to look nice afterwards. It's got a nice bend there. We'll just do the same for the other direction. Add a new action. Now, really, in an ideal world, you would name these bones so you know what you're doing, what they're called, and the action will be named after the bone, so you know, like if it's a forearm action, it'll be called a forearm if you've named it forearm. But yeah, I never tend to name them because I'm just lazy, which isn't good. Let me just start naming my bones. Okay, and that's the other direction. That works fine. That works. Just get these layers back. And back to the main line. Now let's test these bones, shall we? Back to the bone layer. So we can lift that up there, lift that there, and pose them this way. And we've got these nice joins now. A lot nicer than what it was, put it that way. Very simple to do, and very effective. Okay, now the legs. These legs are janky. They need some TLC, so let's just do the same like we did with the arms, but with the legs. So I'm going to start with this bottom leg bone here. Add an action. This should be called, what's this bone called? It should be called B13, this action. B13. Frame 72. Rotate B13. Ignore the foot right now because that's got an independent angle. It's going to do that. But we just want to fix this vector for the bottom part of the leg. So like that looks good to me. Let's have a look at it in action as it rotates. Oh, my throat. Maybe bring that a little bit up. Does that look good? Maybe halfway it can go, it can start bending here, because otherwise it looks a little bit dodgy. That's fine. That is fine. I'm not going to do an action for the other direction because it's not going to bend that way if the foot is facing that way, unless he's breaking his legs, which he isn't, so I'm going to leave that other direction alone. Trying to cut as many corners as I can. Okay, now, oh, I've just made a new action for the same bone. I did not mean to do that. Didn't do that. Let's select this top bone. Add a new action. Make sure you're on frame 0, guys. I was on frame 1 there. Always be aware of that. B12, and then let's go to frame 72. Rotate this bone. Let's do this direction first. And just move these points to a better kind of location. halfway we can get this looking a little bit better. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe we also edit this lower torso vector layer, because it's got a very sharp corner where we can move it up a little bit so it doesn't kind of go in the way. Yeah, we'll do that, that's fine. Now the same for the other direction, guys. So back to the bone layer here, add an action. It'll be the same name with number 2 after it. 72. I'm going to try and get through this as fast as I can because I don't want it to be a boring watch for you guys. I mean, you want to get straight to the point when you watch these kind of videos, don't you? And me mumbling on is sometimes not needed. So let's do that to there. That looks good to me. Maybe halfway it comes to about here. Yeah, that's fine. Back to the main line. Let's test. Actually, let's do the other leg and we'll test it because we've got the IK thing here and it'll look good when it bends, hopefully. That's the plan. Start with this leg. Bone, add an action, do that. Frame 72. I don't know why I'm choosing frame 72, by the way, guys. There's no actual reason behind that. It's just a number I can see that's caught my eye, and I know where the midpoint is for that as well. And you can choose any number you want, really. Does not have to be that number. I'm going to tweak the lower torso as well, vectors, so it kind of opens up there. You can see that kind of coming into work there. That's going with the leg. Cool, that works for me. Mainline, Bob. It's called Chuck, by the way. I need to stop calling him Bob. He's been named. I'm gonna change that to Chuck. I really hope that doesn't affect anything when I do that. I think it does. But he's called Chuck. Number 2, for the other direction. So 72. We'll rotate it this way, and we'll edit these points to a nicer location. Maybe somewhere like there. Maybe. I mean, this leg's never going to come to that kind of extreme angle, but we'll do that to there anyway. We just will. We'll just do that to there. Yeah, I'm not going to worry too much about that. It's never going to go there. Back to the bone layer. We're going to do the bottom bone now. Same again, like as always, just doing the same on this other lower bone as we did on the other side. Rotate it to here, and then we will edit these vectors. Oh, this has gone horrible here. Let's pull that way, pull that this way. Can't really see what's going on. I need to turn off this leg so I can see where I'm going with this. Like that. Okay, midpoint is there. Something strange is going on here, so we're going to cover that up. But yeah, that works. That works for me. That's fine. Mainline. And then same again for the other direction. Frame 72. T, rotate this way. And then let's just edit these points. A bit more pleasing position. Again, I don't know why I've done that one because it's not going to bend that way. Silly. This leg will never bend in this direction unless he's literally fallen off something and broke his legs, which is it's just not going to happen, is it? So that was a waste of time, but we've done it anyway. It's fine. Let's check the IK now with this. So it should, in theory. Okay, get on the bone layer first, Carl. Let's do that. Yeah, okay, that does work. I want the this kind of thing to stay on top of the shoe. So to do that, I need to go into this bone, B13, And when it rotates this way, we do need these points to kind of come up a little bit, and that's what we need. Probably like to about there, I imagine. I think. Unless I've just made a complete mess of that. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. That does look better because you can see now it kind of. Oh, not that way. We haven't set it up for that direction. So yeah, now you can see it kind of rides on that shoe. I'll do the same for this other one. So this. Hide that other leg so we can see what's going on, and just move these points up ever so slightly. Then now that should ride on the shoe. Oh, let's move it to the frame 72. I've done it on the frame before it. Just move it over. That should ride above the shoe now when it is brought down on this bone. Let's have a look. It does. It does it. It rides it better. And he's never going to be going extreme like down here, is he? Unless he's. Well, it still works. It still looks okay. That's fine. But we have got, like I say, these IK working here. That's working. I'll set up an action for that because we can't be having that. Look at that. Okay, so this bone is in action. Like I say, this can come across as quite a tedious procedure, but once it's done, it's done. Do you know what I mean? It's like you just need to set it up to one time, and then the rig is good, and you won't. Well, you can just fix problems as you go then, but at least this kind of irons out all the major issues that can come up. Now look at that. That's a better that's a better bend. That worked better. That's that done. The head. Oh, the head bone. That's fine. Yeah. So I think that's all the limbs. The limbs are sorted. Maybe. Do I do something with that? Yeah. Let's sort this one more. One more. What about this way? Does that work? Yeah, he's not going to bend. He's not going to break his back, so don't worry about that. We'll do one more for this bone. Nearly there, guys. Nearly there. Sorry. B2. 72. Let's rotate this guy this way, and I'm going to just make his torso kind of come up here, kind of ride on the lower torso. Maybe he comes around like this. I've got this nice little kind of crease. Yeah, that works. That's gonna work. That's gonna work fine. Let's test that. Make sure you're on the bone layer for it to really work. That works. That works. I think I want to turn off on the head. Ignored by IK, maybe, is that what it is? So now when he, that should, no, that's not doing that. Not ignored by IK. What's annoying me is how it's affecting the bone before it. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't. To be fair, you can just use the T to transform the bone, and then it won't kind of rotate the neck too. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just being tedious with it. Okay, so that's the main body all set up now. That's working fine. It's working good. Let's start adding bonus to the face. The fun part. This video should be the animating side, but we've had to split the rig and the character side into this 2 sections because otherwise it's gonna be such a long video. So let's start adding bones now. Make sure you have no bone selected, guys, and then add a bone. I'm gonna add it to this side. Let's do a head flip first. I think that could be quite cool, a head flip. So that bone's drawn, call it head flip. Give it some angle constraints like that. That works. And then we're gonna go show label so we know it's a head flip. Bring the strength down on the head flip bone. And it's quite funny because I'm setting this up. I've never set up a head flip on a bone before, but I'm just gonna go for it, and I'm pretty certain I know how to do this. So it's a learning process for me as well as you guys. Probably not what you want to hear when you're watching the tutorial, but here we are. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm learning myself. So we've got the head flip bone. Let's add a smart action to this now. We're on frame 0. Head flip, okay. On frame 1 we want the bone to be on this side, and then when it gets to frame, let's just say it's 48, bring it to this direction, and then we want in the middle at frame 24 the head needs to head layer needs to flip. Not there. That's not a good flip. The orientation of this is not good. That's what's going on. Set up the orientation right there where we want the flip to go from. Now, frame 24, the head, back to the head again, needs to flip there. And just doing that looks ugly, so what I like to do is on a head flip, I like to give it a little bit of a squish, a little bit of a squash, so kind of squish it down, stretch it down as well, grab a normal keyframe, and then put it normal here. That works, and then when it goes back the other way, it should. Yeah, you got a nice little squish going on. Yeah, and also when I flip a header, I also like to give the character a blink. It's just something I like to do, but we can do that when we add the blink to do the face later on. So that's just going to be the flip for now, for the head. Let me just make sure this is all set to linear. Okay, back to the main line. Let's test that head flip bone. Nice to see this is not working. I'm joking. It is working. So it goes. You can see that nice little squish. Cool. So that's the head flip sorted. Let's add another bone. Make sure you don't select that bone, otherwise it'll parent it. Let's add let's do a blink. We'll do a blink. So we'll call this one blink. Again, we'll add bone constraints and we'll turn that down as well. This, by the way, I need to quickly sort this head flip out because the way the bone sits directly up, it's affecting the. It needs to be over there when it flips. Yeah, that's what's going on. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Okay, that's fixed. Sorry about that. So let's go back to the blink bone. Show label. Let's make sure this is all capital letters. And then we're going to go to bone constraints, angle constraint. We'll just give it a little constraint this way. 90-degree angle. And then let's add a smart action to this. So add an action. No, that's not right. The bone wasn't called blink. Did you see that? That's my own fault. I'm not on the bone layer. Add an action now. It's called blink. Go to frame. I'm just saying 48. Don't know why, but that's what we're saying. On frame 0, we want the eyes to be all the way up here. We don't want them to be half open, because otherwise it won't be a full blink. Let's bring them up here, and then to frame 48, when that bone comes all the way down, let's just do this and bring that down. Same with this one. Bring that down. So there's the blink. Back to the main line. Back to the bone layer. Is that working? Let's just test it. It is working. Cool. Yeah, I don't know why I have that visible already. It should be up here, really. Now, does that affect that? Let's have a look. No, that works. Got a blink. Blink's working. Cool. Cool. So now you can, if you want to animate a head turn, you could do this. You can go head flip this way, and then on that flip you can get the blink down and then back up when he's flipped. Just gives it a little bit of a this needs to be this way. That's giving me some issues. That is that bone. There you go. There's the head flip. Just testing it. Yeah, it works fine. Why is that on frame 1? Don't need that there. Okay. Pupils. We need to move the pupils left and right. So we need a new bone for that. Let's go add a bone. Pupils. They can be over here. Left and right one. Bring that bone strength down. Give it a constraint. That way and that way. So let's add a. I haven't named it. Hang on. Eyes left, right. Eyes left and right. Show label. Add an action. Let's bring it to the left fully first. Let's just bring that pupil this way. Same on this. Oh. Same on this to that side. And then let's go back onto the bone layer. Back to the main line. And then we'll do the other direction. Hit T, bring it this way. Bring it this way. Same on this side. Just do it there. That works. Back to the main line. To the bone layer. That works. So we've got that. We've got the blink. You can do the same for up and down too, if you'd like to. I'm not too bothered right now about that because it's just showing the basics. I mean, yeah, I don't need to add the up and down right now. But yeah, this is all coming together nicely, guys. We can pose him now. Because I got the mouth on a switch layer, I can just right click on this. Let's go on frame 1, sorry. Let's pose him. Let's just go. Let's put him in a random pose. Let's get his leg over here. Like that. eyes looking that way. Looking cool. Maybe I have his head flipped actually like that. Then we can go to the mouth now, and we can choose near the mouth. We can choose that. Then we can go to this layer and just choose, say, number 2. And you can obviously, because it's a switch, they can go through on the timeline and then just switch it to any other mouth shape that you want. You can add a bone to this as well if you wanted to do it that way. It's up to you, or you can even go to the window up here and choose the switch layer, switch selection, and you get this little window which comes up, and you can actually just scroll through all the switch layer vectors on that switch layer you got selected, which is really cool. You can go through and you can just literally choose as you go, and that's how you can lip sync the character. Yeah, so you can see now it's playing as I choose the picture, it adds it to the timeline, which is a cool little feature. So yeah, I'm just gonna test them real quick. Let's just do this. Blink. Then lift it up here. And we pose him this way. Lift him up this way. Like that. And you can see that really cool little animation. Maybe his arms drop. And you might look at the camera. Control F to add keyframes on all the bones, and then you can then go ahead and pose them in the next frame. You know, all the bones will then move from that previous position to this position, rather than if you don't do that, it kind of, some bones don't have keyframes and it makes your animation really all jumbled up, and yeah, it's confusing. Then here we can just have him open his eyes. Maybe his eyes need to go a bit more this way, and then we'll choose a mouth number 1 for a smile. But you can see how it comes together, how you can make him move and all that kind of cool stuff. It's just cool to see a character that you've designed come to life through animation. I think that's kind of what made me fall in love with animation in the first place, was you can draw something and then suddenly give it life. It's really cool. So yeah, I'm going to leave that video here now, guys. It's quite a long one, I apologize for that. But if you like the video, leave a like, leave a comment. I could do a part 4 now where I kind of just tweak the rig a little bit more, and if I do tweak it, I will let you know what I do tweak in the next video, whether it be a bone for the lips, eyebrows, even things like that. And yeah, I might do a little lip sync or something for you guys to see how that works. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you like the video, subscribe if you want to see more. Cheers, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.